What up, Pittsburgh Steelers fans? Matty P, Marky D here with another episode on Steelers Touch Down Under. It's roster cuts are in full swing. Who knows what's going to be broken by the time you listen to this. The big news as we go live to air kind of thing is around Kevin Dotson, or as we go live to record is Kevin Dotson. Marky D, I've been saying it for ages on this show that Dotson will be traded before the break, especially after free agency. And what's happened? They trade Dotson. But, what are your thoughts on this one?
I'm kind of okay. Well, I do like Dotson. I wasn't against him in any areas. I like the fact he was a Steeler fan, that kind of stuff. I thought you know what? To be very honest, when you think about it in a way how things are moved, going getting Ciamalo and replacing him there, and then getting Dotson back with some more picks with fourth and fifth, and the Rams I think are in a bit of trouble too, so they might be some high picks. Like this could be a very good move because Dotson was never going to play starter ever, right? He's only going to be depth. So why would you waste him there? Get some value back for him. And yes, you have been calling it quite a few times. Like you've said, well, trade Dotson, you take away the money, that kind of stuff. So, I guess it's not going to hurt anyone's feelings. Oh no, not Dotson. It's like he gets a shot to go out there and play starter or back up and have a new chance at his career. And the Steelers gets back some value. And I think the Rams are going to struggle. I think the Rams are one of the most boringest teams, to be honest, man, in the NFL. Ever since they won the Super Bowl, there's nothing excites me about that team.
And they actually he helps them a lot because they got some offensive line problems. But I agree with you, like a fourth and a fifth for a 2020 fourth round draft pick going to his last year. This is why I said trade him, because he wasn't going to start. We had Nate Herbig back up there. You've got Spencer Anderson, and you get picks back for a player that you're not going to re-sign after their rookie deal. And he was going to need to get paid $4 or $5 million, right?
So you know what?
It makes sense.
It's another move of the Omar Khan era that is just like on point, isn't it?
Really? That too. We drafted Darnell Washington in the fourth round next year. Who are we going to draft in the fourth round next year once we've got Kevin Dotson? Like, we've got draft. That's the other thing too, is like he's starting to pad out the draft picks. And I actually think in our trade up, wasn't it in our trade up for round one, we traded a fourth next year anyway? And he's just got that back?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he did.
For the
Broderick Jones, for the
Jonesy.
Yeah.
When they moved him up there.
Yeah.
If that's the case, man,
we just got that pick back. Steelers trade.
If Omar Khan did that, they're really playing like in front of themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like they're really far in front of the 8 ball. Well, not behind it at all. Like they're making the moves that make sense. You have Isaac Ciamalo for a 3-year deal. He's played fantastic this offseason. And now you have, like you said, Spencer Anderson who can play a lot of roles. And they're not done adding guys either. So they might I don't know, they might keep someone at center or bring someone at center, move Anderson around. They still might cut Green. We don't know. But to me, it makes sense. Like he was a starter for us, Dotson, and now he's got a chance to go out that way, out west, do whatever you want to do. And we have our guy in our starter. Like it doesn't a good move to me.
Yeah. I was wrong actually, because we traded the 120th pick in the actual this year's draft, and then that's why we traded back, back from that third spot to get that fourth round pick. So no, I was wrong on that one. But still, I mean, padding out with middle round picks is very, very helpful. Allows you to take a punt on things. But as you just said there, like there's no downside for the Steelers like with this move. It's only upside because he was a second stringer, maybe even third stringer behind Herbig technically. So and I think we kind of knew this was coming really because of how much Green played on the weekend against the Falcons. Like, remember when we did our 53 show that's on this channel, like in predicting the 53, we talked about the fact that Green had played the whole game and Dotson hadn't played anything. And I was like,
So he didn't play? I don't
think he played. Game. I don't remember seeing him on the field. I don't think he played.
That's interesting.
What you've got that Snap website though?
I haven't got that was through, I think it was the Yard Bike. I might have put some more together, but that was through Steelers Now or Steeler Nation.
Yeah, right. Let me see on PFF. I am sure that Dotson didn't play.
So you're saying they didn't play him because they knew that the trade was going to happen?
Not necessarily they knew they would. No, more that they probably knew they wanted to move him, which I have known about for obviously my whole, for the whole of season.
Well, you've been talking Omar Khan.
Yeah, I've been talking the Khan artist. But no, I think they wanted to see who could fill in for the role.
Right. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. And here we're
Yeah, he
all
didn't
thinking,
play. He played against Tampa. He had 8 snaps against Tampa, and then he had, according to PFF, and then he had total 16 against Tampa, 29 against Buffalo. They've got nothing in him for him here against the Falcons.
so does that mean that they were testing out Green again for guard and
Yeah.
stuff like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Interesting. I think it's good. I have no like, they trade away Claypool. I think he's a terrible receiver. This guy, I'm like, yeah, Dotson, go out there and have a chance, man. See what you can do. But it works out for us and we get back picks. And it's like in 2 years' time, we can use those picks or get players back and build around what Omar Khan wants to do in the draft. He's getting his players, This is the new era, the new Steelers era.
Yeah, and I mean, look, there's been some interesting cuts around the league. I mean, Jalen Mayfield that played horribly for the Falcons against us. He got cut. Delonte Scott got cut. The Giants released the running back James Robinson, the guy that got 1,000 yards in his rookie year, went undrafted at the Jags. Colin Johnson, who went to the Longhorns, who I quite like. He's a 6'6", 220-pound wide receiver, tight end type. He's available. Matthew Wright, that kicker that we've seen with the Steelers at times, he got cut by
a few times.
He got cut by the Panthers. James Washington got cut from New Orleans. So yeah, there's been a Blankenship, the kicker, got cut from Tampa Bay. Like, there's all sorts of different sort of.
Is it the guy with the glasses?
Yeah.
Oh, they cut him. Oh man, I thought he was good. Wasn't he good? Or was he okay?
But they're always funny about their kickers. Like, they're kind of everywhere on their kickers. But I think it's what you said to me off air as well. Like, and particularly by the time this show goes live tomorrow, US time, like we could see a lot of different things having happened. Buddy Johnson got cut by the Bears. I was saying with Alex Leatherwood. The poor pick by the Raiders. Like, I'm just giving a sense of some of the different people that have become available, but I don't think there's anyone that I don't know. To me, as we record this show, there's no one sitting there out there that I'm like, oh my god, the Steelers have to get him. But I am interested to see how they get a center. I mean, I did a show less than 24 hours on this that's available on this channel around why Kendrick Green could be a trade. This could be a case for a trade. And I said that regardless of Dotson, because there's a center spot open now at Tampa Bay. So I mean, yeah, it's kind of I don't know what it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I mean, let's think about it from the Steelers' perspective. We've seen some different people that have got NFL experience be cut. Who are some surprise cuts for you on the Steelers now? I mean, I can bring up our little depth chart.
The guys that have been cut already or going
to
be cut?
Guys that are still on the roster for the Steelers that, like, people might be thinking they're locks, but it's like you said to me as well.
They could very well.
If they've traded Dotson, there's a lot of players that aren't necessarily safe anymore.
No one's safe. And there was a reason why they traded Dotson too, and it kind of makes sense. So to me, you know what? Zach Gentry could be cut. He could.
Yeah, he could.
That
he said this last year too.
Yeah, thinking about stuff now, like we have Grill and Chillin and that kind of stuff. But there could be a possibility because they might go into the season with only 3 tight ends: Darnell Washington, Muth, and Haywood, and then that also frees up another spot. Because do you want to go into the season with 4 tight ends, and what impact does actually Gentry do for the team? Is he going to get receptions, yards, TDs, things of that nature? Can you get Washington to do what he can do on the field? Therefore, you have another spot on the roster. That could be a possibility. Also, my mate Shessie could be cut as well. You never know. They might bring someone else in from another team to be a receiver, another veteran guy. I think guys around the cornerback areas too, Pierre, like you said, could be cut. And then if they're cutting Dotson or trading Dotson, then your mate Kenny Robinson might make the team too. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you're right though. Like, think about it, right? There are guys like that on the fringe that we had said that would be locks or our 53, and already we're wrong. Because
we had Dotson, one thing as well. If they're going to keep 7 or they want 8 defensive linemen, I'm sorry, Marcus Golden, with the way Herbig's playing, Marcus Golden could find himself moved.
Could be.
I'm not saying cut or released. I'm saying they might look for a trade partner there, like they did Melvin Ingram. Like, I'm
just saying you don't need 4 or two backups outside those, because Highsmith and TJ are playing 80% of the time anyway, And
Correct.
then depends how they play their defensive.
Kwon can play outside if you really wanted him to.
Yeah, and also different defensive schemes, stuff like that. So it's like it's a lot of those, third and fourth string guys on the very edge. Who's going to make the team? You can't cut Herbig the way he's played.
And we've got 6 guys listed at cornerback now with a Riley, a flex to free safety. I know we had a big debate when we did the 53. I still think Pierre's cuttable. I honestly think Pierre will be cut because again, if you want to keep Golden, maybe they only go in with 5 corners, including Shannon Sullivan with the slot corner, because Riley can play there as the 5th guy. And so can Kazi. He can go into the slot. So if you're playing a 3 safety set, you don't need to keep 6 cornerbacks on the roster.
It's going to come down to, I think, whatever the positional coaches have certain ideas for the team and what Mike Tomlin and the guys want to do and what direction they want to go. They might not need James Pierre this year because someone else might take over that spot. I agree with that. Like this to me now, like, look, we got back the picks and it's awesome, but there could be it's like surprise cuts for me. Like I think James Pierre will make it because he's a guy. But he might be cut.
Green might be cut. Crap some of the preseason.
Yeah, but he normally it's kind of like the same thing with Marcus Allen. He always made it. You know what I mean? But it could be a thing where Green. Like I think when we find out the roster, there's going to be half the crowd's going to go, "Oh no, they didn't cut Green," and the other half's going to go, "Oh, we'll give him another shot." You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, it's like the whole Canada thing we talked about.
Yeah, it's going to be. And this year, I'm giving Canada. Look, I'm more cool with it until it's not kind of thing. That's the way fans are. But even Killebrew, like imagine they cut Killebrew.
I was funny you say that. Like if I'm Omar Khan, I'm cutting Killebrew, right? For the money that he's on, I think he saved like almost best part of $2 million. Like, I don't think he's worth that. But a lot of teams have poor special teams, and the Steelers always invest in 1 or 2 special teams guys, and that's Killebrew. And look, to be fair, the punt that landed in 13 yards out or less on the other day, he was right there, ready to make the tackle, and get that ball. He was there at the play. I just think he offers nothing there, really, in the actual defense. So yeah, it is going to be interesting to see where these surprise cuts actually happen as well. Does Loudon again? I think defensive tackle. I don't think we're going to see some sort of shake up there that we don't expect.
Here's one for you. What about McFarland? I think if he gets cut, that'll be the most surprising. I think if he gets cut, that to me is not happening.
They like him. He's cheap. He's cheaper depth at third. The third running back on the depth chart. He's cheaper than going out and getting a free agent because of the minimums, right? So he has money, in his favor. The other thing too is he played with Canada at Maryland, right? And since Canada's been able to install his full offense, look at what McFarland's been able to do. So I think that's a little bit safer.
You know what? Sorry, I cut you off. I'm reading something else. You know what's really interesting? They cut Rex Sanahara and they cut BT Potter. They didn't cut Braden Mann yet. Is that saying something?
They haven't. No, they haven't.
Is that saying something, or is that still a 50-50? They still trying to think about it?
I think last time they picked between punters, it was one of the last. It was actually one of the last people to move and to change.
I'm just saying that's interesting, intriguing, right? Because they also cut the Rickshaw. Sorry to pronounce his name wrong.
But he was on the field, but he didn't catch anything, I don't think.
I think it was he was there for a week. So, yeah, it's something, with this whole Dotson thing, I think it could be very surprising with people where they go. Of course, we know where the starters are. But
I'll tell you what else I reckon. Yep. I don't think the Steelers are done trading. I reckon there's at least one more trade.
Who are they going to trade?
No, I reckon they're going to trade for another player.
Oh, they trade for someone.
Yeah.
Okay.
They've got some picks now.
Like someone who's maybe unhappy at their club or whatever.
Yeah, or someone that feels a need. They'll wait the first day after the cuts. So, I honestly think. I think they've got another trade in them, man.
You think it's going to be O-line? It can't be any skill position, right? It can't be any halfback, fullback, tight end, receiver. Surely not. Is it going to be O-line or is it going to be like,
defensive line? Maybe they bring in a DT that someone else doesn't want to pay.
Okay, interesting.
Maybe they bring in another safety. I think they're still weak there. I think they should be looking to bring in a backup center, regardless. And I know people find that funny. I'm like, why trade Green if you want a backup center? I just don't think. I don't want Green playing more than 3 or 4 games. I just don't trust it. So
it says here Tuesday 29th at 4 p.m. So we'll find out before everyone else because we're in front. No,
that's it.
I wish that was the case. Holy dooly. Yeah, that goes to 53. Then of course we get the 16 guys on the practice squad.
Yep.
So I think you're right.
I don't know. Look, I don't think Omar Khan's scared to wheel and deal. Obviously, right?
Obviously not. No.
I don't think. I don't. Yeah. Honestly, I think the Steelers have got another one in them. I think they almost need to if they want to improve this team now, other than just cut to get to 53. If you want to improve the team, I think you're going to be hard pressed unless there's a really big surprise cut with a really clear fit for the Steelers. I think you pretty much have to trade to improve this team.
But do they trade obviously you wouldn't trade for a running back, right? You've got enough running backs there.
Yeah, and a guy like James Robinson hits the open market. I don't think you need to do that. I don't think you need to do that for a 5th or 6th wide receiver, unless you're getting someone that's being shopped around, that's going to get cut, and he'd be usually a 3rd or 4th wide receiver on a team, and then he becomes available. But yeah, I think we're looking at the lines. I think you're looking at safety. Maybe inside linebacker. I think they'd be comfortable with what they've got, but who knows who becomes available. You don't want to. You wouldn't. As I said, it's got to be about improving the team. Maybe a cornerback. Maybe it's cornerback.
Yeah, it could be cornerback as well. I was thinking that too. But you are right, guys. Behind Minka and stuff like that. Well, I kind of just wanted to happen so we know who, but. It's very interesting because who knows if the Pierres are going to make the team or whatever.
I think it's it. I just got, as I said, you got to think about how do the Steelers get better? That's the thing, and I think there's now a couple of really apparent positions. It's center.
Yeah, O-line.
But I mean, I think even at tackle, I think we're pretty much set, right? I think it's center. I think it's interior defensive line, and I think it's corner. Maybe safety if you've got any concerns about Neal's health. I mean, I personally I'd feel safer, but it's hard, man.
You know what's really cool as well? How the Steelers don't go out and get that flashy player, the big names that come over, you got to get go and get this guy. They never seem to do that kind of stuff. They went and got the Holcomb, they got the Roberts, they got those guys who are pretty on point. And all offseason, I say we got to wait to see them play. And now watching them play, they look awesome. Roberts. I don't know if we talked about it, but he was like a missile going down into to sack the quarterback and get the running back for a loss. Holcomb's all over the shop too. He's everywhere covering. So it's fun to watch those guys play along with Alexander, right? It's one of the best linebacking cores I think we've seen in a long time. And I've been reading comments too on my Steel Oilers, and people are saying that it's the first time in a very long time that the preseasons felt like something. And it does feel like that with all the new names,
true.
Right? All the new names coming in.
I was just looking at a name. Bobby McCain. He could be a guy.
Is he a cornerback? He's a cornerback,
he's
right?
Safety with the Giants. Yeah, he's a potential cut target. He was listed as a cut target, but he's better against the run. Maybe, and he's 30. Maybe he's another guy that you bring in at the strong safety. It's going to be fascinating to see who they go and get, and it's also going to be fascinating to see who other teams release that we're interested in, but also other teams that pick up the players that we release. I think sometimes we're quick to brand someone as no good, but then Steelers players that are cut always get picked up. Like Henry Mondeau was on the NFL cut list because he's being put on IR by the Jags. Like we had Henry Mondeau.
He's with the Jags now. I thought he was with the Giants.
I think he's with the Jags.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So it's kind of fascinating how it's all sort of working. If you could get a player from another team in this instance,
any player,
any player, who would you?
What, even like with the real good ones?
Yeah, go for it.
No, I'll try and be realistic. I'm trying to think who were the ones who are cut right now, or
no, just in general. Like, is there a player that like speaks out to you? Like, you know what, the Steelers traded a 3rd round pick for him. I wouldn't hate it.
It's hard. It's hard because I don't really watch the NFL anymore. I don't watch the Steelers.
Yeah.
I used to like, and I know people gave me a bit of like crap for it, but I used to like that Perine dude from the Bengals. I thought he was cool. You know who I would get? I know like he's pretty high up there, but he's like money now. It's Tony Pollard. He's good too as a running back. I'm not saying, as a third guy, but there's no real room for him now. But I think like even like on the Steelers offense, we're pretty set in those skill positions.
Yeah.
I think. Do you know what I mean? Like it's hard to bring those guys in. So if I would say offensive line, I don't really know too many guys on the offensive line or any veterans that will bring in, but I think it wouldn't surprise me if they do bring someone in at that position. But then I keep thinking back to cornerback as well with like, if they're going to think about cutting Pierre, they might bring someone else in. So I don't know. Do you get like a guy like they've seen this year? They've seemed to be getting a lot of vets: Holcomb, Roberts, Neal, Sullivan. Right, all those dudes are vets. We've been playing for a pretty long time. So do you go and get someone like that to come in and go and win a Super Bowl? You know what I mean? Alexander too. He's been playing a long. You know what I mean? They've been playing a long time. So I can't probably say one person. I don't watch the NFL enough to know the players.
Well, so you're not going to do very well in your fantasy then, are you?
I did, mate. I'm winning it.
How are you winning it? It hasn't even started yet.
I don't care. I don't care what anyone says. I'm winning it. I've got.
So read out your team. Read out your team for everyone.
Okay. I've got Jalen Hurts, Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, he stole Hurts right before I was about. I think I was 2 picks behind you, and I was going to pick him.
Hurts is like my only reason I can win. Antonio Gibson from Washington, Jalen Warren because he's going to get 2,000 yards, Juju Smith-Schuster because Mac Jones is going to go off, Pat Freiermuth because he's awesome, Marquise Brown because I don't know. I don't know why I chose him. Joe Goff backup, Ramondre Stevenson, Calvin Austin, Deebo Samuel, and Zach, the tight end Zach Kuntz from the Jets, and Braden McManus is now a Jacksonville Jaguar Steelers defense and Lions backup. Yeah,
you picked Steelers defense earlier. I was going to pick it in the following round. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good team.
The last one's a bit of a joke, but if I win like 6 games, I'm happy, or 5 games. I don't really care. I just like Hurts, man. I think Hurts is a great quarterback.
I got Lamar Jackson, Saquon Barkley, Travis Etienne.
Oh, 2 good running backs.
AJ Brown, Chris Olave, who was the best rookie wide receiver last year, Darren Waller, Javonte Williams, Carlson, the kicker from Vegas.
He's good, isn't he?
Defense. Yeah, I did it. I almost picked Myers out of Seattle, but I wanted a kicker that had lots of field goals, a team that's going to kick lots of field goals and had good distance above 50 yards.
And Jimmy would just get him just almost there.
That's what I mean. That's why I picked him in. He's going to get him almost there, and then Carlson's going to kick the goals inside.
Like the 45-yarder.
Daniel Jones, Brian Robinson Jr. from Washington. I can't believe he was sitting there on the board. I don't think people in the league were playing him. Definitely don't watch anything other than Steelers. Jahan Dotson, Christian Kirk, Christian Watson, who was a defensive pick. I didn't want anyone else to pick him. And then I picked Everett, the tight end that Herbert's going to throw to in the Chargers. And yeah, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I'm excited.
Yeah, it should be fun. I mean, there's 10 teams in it, so it should be a good time. But yeah, I obviously didn't pick plays that I should have. Like Warren, I shouldn't have picked. Probably Juju.
Yeah, I watched you pick all the Steelers.
Yeah, got Muth in there too. Got Calvin Austin too, but
Muth was good for me last year. Muth's good every second game, but he'll be better this year with Pickett. So,
and I got CA3, and I'm like, he might do like good few plays.
He might be actually really good on special.
True, I didn't think about that. True.
And the defense, I think you get I think in the league rules that you set up, your defense is your special teams as well.
Yeah, you get like 6. So if you get like a TD, you get 6 points. You get the interception and stuff
So
like that.
you could do well there, man.
Well, this defense I think should be on
Yeah,
fire.
this defense will be higher when you look at the rankings. Definitely.
Like if Benta makes moves in there, you've got all the linebackers. Maybe might be one of the best linebacking cores in the NFL.
Well, they'll get more than 40 sacks, which is what they got last year. They had a highest number of interceptions. So if they get 50 sacks and like 15 interceptions, you're going to kill it. So
and we're versing Watson and Lamar, or we're versing Jackson. You better run.
Well, that's why I've got Daniel Jones there, so that when Jackson's going to get me a heap of points to start the season, and then I know I'm going to have to bench him and see you later toward the end of the season. That's why I got Daniel Jones in there, mate. You know.
Well, he's not too bad. He can play. I think someone went Mahomes real early. Mahomes
he was like the second or third highest quarterback last year for rushing.
Yeah, well, he made one big play too for like 90 yards, and he
had
fell
like
over.
7. Because I was looking for a quarterback that can run, right? And he had like 700 rushing yards.
Yeah, he does it very timely when he gets out.
And he does a lot of the Kenny Pickett rush near the end zone.
Yeah,
I'm pulling it up.
I'm hoping Kenny can do it this year too. I hope Kenny can be that kind of player when it does break down and then get 10 yards and be safe.
708,
you know what I mean?
708 rush yards and 7 touchdowns. Think that, eh?
Yeah, because he ran one for like 90-something yards and he fell over. He tripped.
Before we end the show, I mean, over or under, how many yards does Kenny Pickett get rushing this year?
Rushing? Let's say 35 a game. So what's 35 times 16?
You're rough.
Whoa, that's heaps. What was your number? Did you even have a number? No.
I never. No. Yeah, I was.
Okay.
Yeah, over under 300. Over under 300.
Over.
So more than 20 yards per game. Then.
Yeah, because 35 is 560.
Yeah.
So, and I just think it's going to break down. He'll go through all his checks. The next one he's going to run down for a first down or get
Yeah.
Because they're gonna like have a bit. They're going to have to soon enough during the schemes. They're going to have to spy him because they won't do it early on. I don't think. They won't, and then he'll be able to run through like a lot of the other quarterbacks. And also, he now has a full season.
They'll wait till they've got enough on tape that the other team's too worried about who's going to get the ball on the receiving side, and then that's going to open up space when he gets into the shotgun or even I think the RPO game for this team is something we haven't seen in the preseason games. I'd love to know from people that have been at training camp how much they saw it at training camp. But I think the RPO is the hidden secret that we don't know about. We've seen a little bit of the play action. We've seen a little bit of the under center. We've definitely seen shotgun. I think the RPO play is going to be really important for this team, and like that quick offense, particularly like RPO no huddle, will be really important.
The other secret too is we haven't seen the other 3 quarters each game. So,
that's actually true.
Like, to be honest, like we see the first drive and it's like we haven't seen Kenny have the full control of the whole game, and that's quite exciting to know because if you're winning by 17 points, 14 points, you're going to run the ball more, and play. And the game's going to be different. If you're behind the game too, Kenny's going to come out and do this. So I'm excited to see him actually this offseason because everyone talks about the rookie year, right? But the rookie year is so hard to judge. Because they're thrown under the pump, and what happened to Kenny, and then like the offense was obviously different with Kenny and Matt Canada wasn't really working, and then now this year what we're seeing from Matt Canada looks fantastic. You know what I mean? So now it's like we actually get the other 3 quarters to play a game, and it's going to be Kenny Pickett versus Brock Purdy. He's been the number 1 guy so far. We'll talk about as we go into the lead up to the game, but that's the matchup. Is Mr. Relevant versus the number 20th pick.
And you know what's interesting too? I've heard that Darnold's done better at camp than Purdy.
He's not seeing ghosts out that way?
No, maybe not.
No.
They're not out there. They're too busy in Gotham City in New York.
Well, they got rid of Trey Lance, right? So there's no him being there, and
that's such an odd trade by Jerry Jones.
Yeah, does he want him to be the starter after Dak? Or just a backup?
But Dak's on a massive contract,
But Dak's also Dak. Like, he's good. He's really good.
That's right.
I don't think he's that great anyway. Every year they say the Cowboys are going to win something and don't do anything. They're just as bad as the Browns.
They do have a good defense, though.
Yeah, who's the other bloke? Micah Parsons in there?
Micah Parsons. Then they got Stephon Diggs. They've got is it Trayvon Diggs? the cornerback.
Oh yeah, he's good too.
They got DeMarcus Lawrence. It's Sam
But
Williams.
they seem to make
got
those
some good
moves all the
players.
time. Jerry Jones does those things, doesn't he? Does those big,
You'd
crazy
hate to be
plays.
part of the Cowboys organization.
Like they're all talking about Trey Lance and the trade, and he's like, I'll do it. I'll pick him up. All right, Jerry, get good.
Because Atlanta were apparently really keen on him, which I didn't understand because they pretty much got Trey Lance and Desmond Ridder.
You know what's interesting about the last game we played? That their rookie didn't even play, or their
Bijan Robinson, yeah.
No, the quarterback,
Desmond Ridder, yeah, he didn't play.
Yeah, how come he didn't play last week? Like he that was
Protect
year
him.
2.
Protect his
But
confidence.
why? But
protect his
confidence. They send Heineke out there to get killed by TJ Watt.
Yeah,
maybe you're right. Because Kenny played the reps to get better.
So Ben was talking about this on the Footballin' show. We'll finish with this.
I need to watch that one too. Yep.
There's a lot of stuff about the beers. If you're not really counting the beers stuff, you can kind of skip through the things at the bottom, right? You get about 20 minutes, half an hour from it, right? And that's 20 minutes, half an hour if you're listening to this show that you can listen to TDU. So it's actually,
true.
I'm helping you here. Work harder, work smarter, not harder, right? So anyway, he was talking about the preseason and he thought that Kenny, he wanted to see the first team offense in there a bit more than what they'd done the first 2 games because they recorded that right before the 3rd game was played. And he was talking about needing to get in there and wanting to get reps and all that sort of stuff. But it's hard when the offense does everything it needs to do. And I kind of, because he talked about the fact that technically Kenny hadn't played a lot of situational football in the preseason, neither had the offense. And that's a different thing to doing it in camp. And I kind of was thinking about it. I'm like, I reckon Mike Tomlin's let it ride with confidence. Like the offense is now going into the season super confident. But if they'd had a drive, let's say the middle drive that they had on against the Falcons, because they had 3 drives, I think. The middle drive, let's say that they didn't score any points. Mm-hmm. The pressure that would have been on that 3rd drive, if they'd even scored a field goal, they would have taken it as a win. But I reckon Mike Tomlin's especially because they obviously Cowboys done the big return, then they hit Freiermuth straight away. I reckon it was we're just going to keep the confidence riding high. We don't have to show anything on tape that we don't want to. So I think I'm not going to be Mr. Negative Matt about the Steelers prospects this season. I want double-digit wins. That's what I believe. But I think we're going to see this team score points in bunches like they have in the preseason, and then have sets where they might go they might come out against the Giants and be up 14-0 or 14-3 and not
Giants
score any more points.
Versus the Niners.
Not Niners. Sorry.
You got the other Daniel Jones on your mind.
Yeah, that's right. And I saw a mate earlier who's a Giants fan. Anyway, so yeah, against 49ers, they might come out and be 14-3.
Yeah,
right?
21
and then literally not score any points until the 4th quarter. I think we've got to align expectations that this team is still growing. There's still a lot of young guys, it's not.
But it's very exciting. They got 5 for 5 drives. They got TDs. Come on.
Oh, it's huge.
There are still guys that they're saying, "Oh, it's only preseason." I'm like, dude, just hand your fan card in already. Just give it up. Yeah, give it to a Browns fan. No, I'm only joking. You guys can watch whatever way you want to watch. But seriously, I'm excited. Don't tell me not to be excited. It's been a fun time. We've seen everything we want to see, and everything went the right way. And now we're getting picks back for Dotson, and we have a good offensive line now. Since 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Remember, look at 2 years ago. Oof, terrible.
It's nuts.
They had Trey Turner yelling at Claypool. Remember those days?
Remember the days of Dante Moncrief?
Yes. Right through his hands.
My favorite, good, John Bostic, man. Oh my god.
I liked him. I like Bostic.
I thought
he was good. And then he beat us up when he went to the Commanders or the football team the year after. Remember that? He beat us up real well. He had the most tackles. He had most tackles in an interception.
Yeah.
I think. He killed us. Absolutely killed us.
That destroyed us.
That was his revenge game. He's got the football for that one.
Well, that is going to wrap this week's Steelers Mad Monday on Touch Down Under. If you're not a sub yet, hit that sub button. It means you get all our live stuff. It means you get all the breaking stuff. When it's happening. You also get a few things like our community posts and stuff like that. We try and keep you guys informed about all the different things we're doing. Going to try and do a few polls throughout the season as well. I almost did one the other day. But I didn't know with YouTube, you can't share a video link and do a poll in the same post. So that was kind of annoying.
That could be an idea. That's an idea for YouTube, actually. It's not a bad idea.
So, yeah, I want to get the polls out there, get you guys factored in and thinking and all those sorts of things. If you like the show, hit the like button. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, as always, too. Super helpful. We try and come back to all of them. I think I've come back to like 120 comments in the last 48 hours or something.
Famous.
So like we're doing a lot there. We do try and engage with our community out there. But as always, Marky D.
Go Steelers. Here we go.